Welcome to the PinLeader Podcast, where strategic leaders get straight to the topics, strengthening our awareness and sharpening our minds. The PinLeader Podcast is produced by Roar, a production division of Mays & Associates Ltd. Find out more at www.maysassociatesltd.com. Now here is your award-winning host, Dr. Shanda Gore.
And welcome to the PinLeader Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about operating, marketing, and accounting for sustainability. And I am actually very excited because this is our 100th episode, and we are going to have some very special guests in the studio today who are helping make Mays what it is today. And so I'm excited to have the core team with me today. So we'll start off with why we're talking about operating and marketing and accounting and for sustainability. According to Market Biz, if you didn't know, right now in 2025, more than 65% of global companies now have formal sustainability initiatives. And that's actually up 20% from 2018. But we still have 45% without sustainability. And that's not good for any kind of business or organization. So when we talk about sustainability, what we're talking about is functional categories. And so we have 3 very successful professionals who work, again, with Mays, leading those critical areas to share the impact of those areas and provide some insights. So I'm going to start off with Miss Jini Jordan, who is the operations consultant associate for Mays, often working behind the scenes, researching, coordinating schedules, setting up client meetings. She collaborated on the creation and development of the upcoming main platform, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And Miss Jordan also assists in the creation and implementation of several engagement, satisfaction, and culture climate surveys. And she's led analysis work with focus groups and interviewed data. She has participated in the Intercultural Development Inventory. She holds a bachelor's degree in early childhood elementary education from Bowling Green State University and a master's degree in special education from the University of Toledo Early Childhood Special Education Program. She has more than 25 years of classroom experience in education field with a focus on early childhood kindergarten and as well as special education. She's currently certified through the state of Ohio to provide shared living services for her adult son, who has a rare genetic condition called SYNGAP1. So without further ado, welcome, Miss Jordan.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Excellent. So I am going to go with the first question we have, especially from an operations manager. And you've been successful in doing this for a number of years. How does that type of work really hold an organization together?
So, one of the things that I've done, I've looked up kind of some of the definitions of an operations manager. I think what really describes it well for what I do is, holding the organization together by connecting the strategic vision with the day-to-day execution. So a big part of that is managing your calendar, Dr. Gore, because you're the one out there. And, like you said, we're more behind the scenes. But it helps to make sure that you get to where you need to be and we get as many of our clients, their needs met as possible.
What advisement would you give to those who do not have someone like yourself? They're out there, they're struggling, they're like, I can't afford an operations manager, or I don't know really what that means for my organization, especially if they're a sole proprietor. But what advisement would you tell them?
Well, lucky for us, we have a small team. So we have a large scope, but a small group of people. So it's a little bit easier that way for me to manage. I think for other teams who maybe need that, you need to make sure all your team members have a clear plan and focus for what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So those procedures, I think, is very important. And it goes back to my teaching experience where we practice procedures for everything we did, so that things ran smoothly, those typical things that we do in a day. So kind of like your calendar or different meetings that we have, anything that you can automate and just make run smoothly that way, I think is very helpful.
It's interesting you say that because I know AI, there's a number of individuals who are using AI to try to do this kind of work. And they even have, I think there's software out there like Calendly and so forth. But there's something about that human element that's so important.
Yes. And we've looked into some of that, and I think it's helpful to a certain extent, depending on the kind of business you're doing. But I think what I really enjoy about what we do is being able to offer that personalized touch to our clients, because not every one of our clients has the same needs. We serve a wide variety and just a wide group of people and businesses.
Excellent. I totally agree with you. I think there's something said about that. And even our tagline really has to talk about that customizable approach. And I think we do that in all the work that we do. So
Definitely.
thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
So there's another important part of having that opportunity to have that category met for sustainability, and that has to do with the money, So I have with me also Miss Dianne Engler, who is an accounting professional with more than 35 years and earned a master's of business administration from the University of Phoenix with a focus on forensic accounting. She is the founder and CEO of Balance Books by Engler, LLC, and has accounting and bookkeeping experience across many industries, including restaurant, construction, banking, and sales. She is a QuickBooks Pro advisor. So for those using QuickBooks, you know those are very important, and reached the level of senior tax analyst and small business expert during her years with H&R Block. In addition to her bookkeeping business, she is the director of finance for Ruby Cats, which is a nonprofit cat cafe in downtown Toledo. So welcome, Dianne.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. I'm going to go right into the questions because you are a respected accounting and bookkeeping expert working with a number of clients across industries. What common mistakes do you see?
For new businesses just starting out, biggest mistakes are not protecting themselves. And by that, I mean getting the LLC, setting that up. The state of Ohio does now charge for that. It used to be free, but it's not a huge cost. And it does protect most of your personal assets should someone come back and try to sue you. You can protect most of your assets that way. And then the other thing is getting at least general business insurance for that additional protection. You never know what is going to happen, no matter what kind of business you're running, even if it's just you're mowing somebody's lawn. You could hit a rock and it goes through their window. You have to have insurance. It's just the best way to protect yourself. Other than that, not having a separate bank account. Don't mix your personal and your business funds. Got to keep that separate. I know people who have separate accounts, but will use their business card when they go pick up dinner for the family or they go to Myers for grocery shopping. No, don't do that. I mean, yes, there's a way to handle it, you owners and personal expenses, but it's really not the best way to handle it. And then always check your bank feeds. Whatever type of software you're using for bookkeeping, check your bank feeds just to make sure that there's nothing there that doesn't look familiar. Reconcile the banking feeds and reconcile your credit cards as well. As we all know, hackers, they're everywhere. It's just the best way to see something before it becomes a serious problem.
That's interesting you said that because I remember years ago, I actually went through a process of seeing like $1.32 charged every month on my account. And I went, what is this $1.32? And I researched. And here it was someone doing fraudulent and they were doing this small little pull. And so I was able to recoup it, but not everybody can recoup it if you don't catch it in time. So that reconciliation that you just mentioned, and it is hard, especially if you've got personal funds coming out, to really say, well, was this a personal thing or was this for the business? So to that point, what are the top 3 practices a leader can do in a small and even a large organization that you can think of?
I think it's important to regularly check where your money is going. A lot of times, you set up with somebody that you get your office supplies from, like Office Max, or your utilities, your insurance, all of those things. Check to see if you can do better. In this economy especially, it's really important to reduce the cost, but still get the value. So, sometimes maybe staying where you are is the best thing, but check it out. Don't just be complacent and say, okay, well, this is what I've been doing. We're going to leave it this way, when you could be adding a little bit more to your bottom line if you were able to check that. If you're a larger company, make sure you have a 2-step process for writing checks for bills or for payroll. One person maybe writes it, somebody else signs it, but it's the best way to make sure that somebody doesn't do something they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. It takes away that opportunity, so the thought would never enter their mind. It's just important. It's the best way to do it is by having that 2-step process. And then if you take in money daily, especially for the large businesses, if it's a one-person business, it's not as big a deal. But if you get checks and cash, deposit it daily. Don't leave it sitting around because, again, it's just opportunity. You don't want to give that little bit of a, oh, no one will notice if I just grab a little bit, just take that opportunity right out and make sure that money gets deposited daily. So those would be the big things that I would say is, just make sure that you keep track of where everything is going and that you know where everything that came in is at every moment.
Excellent. Yes, I think that is reconciliation, number one, and checking that, and also looking to see those charges. I do love the advice of tightening it up because always asking the question, could there be a better deal? Is there a different way of handling this? Again, sometimes it's not even the best course to just follow whatever's printed. Ask, and I'm big on that. Ask for that opportunity to say, can we do something with this fee? Do I have to, it's okay to make a phone call and ask. And so I would encourage, especially in these times, I think it's really important to do that. So thank you so much. And so now we're into this category, which a number of people also think, what am I going to do with marketing? What am I going to do with this category? And how do I do it? And I can say right now, I'm thinking about some individuals that are doing their own marketing or their own media. And then they realize, oh, I think I better get some help because I'm not hitting all the marks that I could. Or, I would say this is one of those areas where sometimes, unfortunately, cutbacks happen and it hurts in the long run, especially if you're trying to work on brand. So I also have with me an expert. I have with me Miss Marie Dunn, who is an Emmy award-winning television executive producer and professor at Bowling Green State University. She teaches in and is the marketing communications professional with more than 28 years of experience working for both large and small organizations. She was formerly the public information officer for the city of Perrysburg. Ms. Dunn spent the first 18 years of her career working for WTOL TV and was hired by BGSU's Office of Marketing and Communications, where she spent 8 years managing the university's social media channels. Ms. Dunn also served as Cleveland State University's social media manager. She has earned her bachelor's and her master's from BGSU, and her bachelor's degree is in telecommunications, which happens to be mine as well, and a master's degree in strategic communications and social media. Welcome, Marie.
Hi, it's so glad to be here. Thank you.
Yes, and for those that don't realize this, she's also our podcast producer. So if you've been a guest or if you've actually interacted with the show, you may have run across her name. So we appreciate your help, especially with our 100th episode.
Thank you. It's great being on the other side of the microphone here.
We're glad to have you. So, not only as a working professional, but as now a professor who teaches different aspects of marketing, what trends are you seeing in the market space?
Oh, I think the biggest trend that I'm seeing right now is the use of AI in marketing. It's huge. You see it everywhere. If you use a third-party scheduling tool for social media, there's a little caption that asks you if you want AI to help you write. So I'm seeing that a lot right now. A lot of professionals that I know in the business are using AI to help create content. And it's really helpful, especially if you don't have time. I can't tell you how many small business owners I've talked to or worked for who say they just don't have time to do it. And it's a way to help make time and promote your business. Some other trends are video marketing. Videos are really, really big and really easy to do. Everybody has a phone, right? With a camera and a quick 30-second video of you speaking about your business to help promote it. Social media gives you all the tools that you need to create videos creatively through Facebook Reels or TikToks or Instagram Reels as well, and YouTube content too. Some other trends are podcasts like this one. A lot of businesses are now using that as a marketing tool, and we're actually teaching it as well to college students about having a podcast to help promote your business, just to make yourself a thought leader in your industry. That would get more people to use your services. Another one would be influencer marketing. If you scroll through your TikTok feed or your Reel feed, you will see people, influencers selling products and things like that. And as a small business owner, you might think, well, I can't afford to hire an influencer. So making connections in the community, maybe even a client or someone who uses your services, or maybe a micro influencer who is in your town or your city. Maybe you connect with them and have them help promote your business too. And then another thing that a lot of brands are doing are what's called outbound engagement, which is they're jumping in the comments. So you might see big brands commenting on creators' content, and that just puts your brand out there more and gets more people talking about it and noticing who you are. So those are just a few things that I've seen.
To your point, I think that might be new language for some individuals, and like there's a macro and a micro influencer. And if people haven't used that before, that really don't dismiss where you live. I know where we are, we're concentrated in our local area, but we have a number of clients all over the United States and now actually global. But it really is, you've got this local market, but you also have these broader approaches that you have to look at, from a marketing standpoint. What would you recommend leaders to do to help promote their organizations? And I know you mentioned the micro and the macro, but the leaders themselves that are listening right now.
I would say use all of the tools that you have and use integrated marketing and communications. And by that, I mean, use traditional media like newspapers, television, magazines, along with the digital media, meaning social media, digital ads, integrating all those together, because everybody is everywhere now. No, not everyone is reading a newspaper. Not everybody is only on social media. They're everywhere. So you have to go to the places where they're at. So investing in a marketing communications person is probably your best bet, because you want people to know who you are. And you don't have clients. How are they going to know who you are, right? So
right. That's right. Wait.
And even if you have a small budget, you can find freelancers online, even the local communities. Maybe your local chamber has somebody works locally and does marketing for small businesses. I know a few in this area that do. So just investing in that can help you big time.
Excellent. Well, I can't thank you enough for that advisement. I think that, those listening, and I think of our own clients, these are conversations we've had concerning not only that marketing area, but from the accounting and again, from an operational, just a bare minimum operational side. That the last fun question I ask everybody, and I'll start with you, Marie, is like, what are you reading and what are you watching?
I am actually reading 2 books right now. I have them.
What?
I started one. I haven't started the other one yet, but one of them is called What the Best College Teachers Do. So as a first-year full-time professor, I would really like to improve myself. So I'm reading that. And then the other one is called The Opposite of Cheating, Teaching for Integrity in the Age of AI. So that's another one that I'm really interested in. I haven't started that one yet, but it's on my bookshelf.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to swing to Jini from an operational side. I know you have so much time on your plate. What are you reading or what are you watching?
I don't have as much time to read as I used to or as I like to, but I'm always up for a good Mary Higgins Clark book. So she's one of my favorite authors, even rereading the old ones because, they just follow a nice pattern. So I enjoy that. That's kind of my fun summer reading. And we just finished watching the series Goliath.
Excellent. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to really watch much TV recently, but I've heard a lot of good things about that.
It was good.
For you, Dianne, what are you reading? What are you watching?
Well, I am finished with everything that I was reading, but I started with the A's in the mystery section of the Oregon City Library. I am now in the Greenwoods. So I need to go back to the library and grab my next set of 5 or 6 books. And as far as what I'm watching, Wednesday, which the second part of the second season just dropped on the 3rd of September. And so Wednesday, we like the macabre.
Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming in. Ladies, truly for doing all the work that you've done for Mays & Associates and actually serving our clients.
Thank you so much for having us.
And thank you to our listeners who are listening to the show, sharing it, liking it. We appreciate you too. And if you have any feedback, please send it to info@maysassociatesltd.com. We'd also like to thank today's show sponsor, the Maine Intelligence Network, Come be a part of the focused network of entrepreneurs, leaders, executives, and authors committed to sharpening leadership and strategy while scaling ventures with intention. This is a place where practical thinking meets high caliber connection. Check out the Maine at www.maesassociatesltd.com and select Maine on the homepage to learn more and sign up for how you can get connected. And of course, until next time.
The PinLeader Podcast is hosted by Dr. Shanda Gore and brought to you by Mace & Associates Ltd, creating customized solutions for growth in the areas of leadership development, strategic planning, and culture building. Find out more at www.maceassociatesltd.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the PinLeader Podcast and share with others.